It's something a parent considers every time they put their child in the car, and that's their safety. Children's Hospital Colorado says they saw a 7% increase in ER visits related to car crashes.
That's a terrible statistic. And joining us today to talk about the importance of child passenger safety, car seats, and everything else, we have technician Claire Decker joining us today. Hi, Claire. Thanks for being here.
Hi there. Thanks so much for having me.
I know you brought us a very cute little one here in a car seat, and we're going to do a demo. But before we get into the demos, that stat, that's really sobering. 7% more crashes? Yikes.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously at Children's Hospital Colorado, this is a big deal to us all the time, regardless of what the data looks like. But we did see that increase last year. And there are a lot of things that go into this. We know that vehicle manufacturers are trying to increase safety, and car seats are changing all the time too. We were just talking about that. Increasing those safety technology in car seats is happening all the time. But what we see is there are a lot of things that are playing into those crash statistics. We have weather conditions, we have traffic volume, we have impaired and distracted drivers. So what I like to focus on with caregivers is what can we control, and that's what's inside our car. And so we know that proper use of car seats and boosters is going to reduce those injuries and fatalities on our road for our kids.
It makes a lot of sense because we were discussing, I feel like I have a almost 6-year-old, almost 2-year-old. Even in the last 5 years, the car seats have gotten so much simpler to put in the car. You know, it's just not as convoluted as it used to be. It seems like they're getting better, yet the statistics are going in the direction that they do. So is it really user error in that way?
We know that there's a lot of confusion, although they are trying to make it better, easier, faster for installation. We do see over the past several years in Colorado, we've seen about an 80% misuse rate. That means we have at least one major misuse in the way that car seat is installed and harnessed.
80% of people are making mistakes?
Yeah.
That's pretty scary. I also know laws have been evolving for years over this, but we just saw some changes for the first time in a while that were pretty significant. And I know, again, little ones ourselves, I hear a lot less about don't go by age anymore, go by weight and height, among other things. What are some of the new laws?
Yeah, so we try to keep everything in mind when we're thinking about that. So child's age, weight, and height is kind of a good starting point for stage of where they're at. We're also looking at developmental level and readiness to sit properly every ride. So last year, we had our new laws put into effect, and that was the first time those had changed in 14 years in the state of Colorado. So Children's was a huge champion of those changes, getting that stuff implemented. And really what that did is brought our state child passenger safety laws up in alignment with what child passenger safety technicians and some of the data was showing was best practice for many years before that. So we're really excited for those things to be brought up to standard. So two of the big things that happened with those new laws in 2025 was rear facing until the age of 2 instead of age 1. So keeping our kids rear facing for longer. It's the safest they'll ever ride. Riding that way protects head, neck, and spine in the event of a crash. And then also we increased our booster age from 8 to 9. We know that adult vehicle seatbelts, those are built for adult bodies. So until that kid hits the proper points on their body to keep those crash forces kind of over the hard parts of our bones in our pelvis and in our shoulders, that seatbelt can't protect us properly unless it fits properly. So the use of that booster until that fit is proper is going to keep our kids safest.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. What's our friend's name over here?
We should name him, shouldn't we?
Yeah, he's got to have a name.
What do you
so
think?
Cute.
I will think about it.
He looks like a Freddy.
There you
Freddie.
go.
Freddie's going to help us over
Okay,
here.
you have a demonstration for Freddie. What are you going to show us?
Yes, absolutely. So this seat that I brought is actually for use both rear and forward facing, which you can see in the manual here. We also have what I like to call the mini manual. On the side here, we have this label that's going to show us how to use the seat properly. So like I was saying, we want to keep kids rear facing as long as possible. For this seat, we can find that right here. It's 40 pounds or 43 inches, whichever one comes first. When we're installing a car seat rear facing, we want the straps on the harness to be coming out at or just below that child's shoulders. You can see that we have lots of different slots those can come out of so that this can grow with the child. Then when we're harnessing them in, once we get everything buckled, we want to make sure that that's tight enough. So we put our fingers over the shoulder here, and if I can pinch that excess material like I can here, that means it's not quite tight enough. So we would snug that up until we can run our fingers over that without pinching excess in my fingers. So that's what we call the pinch test to make sure that's nice and snug. We also always want to have this chest clip at armpit level on the child, nice and high on the chest. So those are the important points for harnessing. When we go to install the seat, we need to pick the proper belt path. So for a rear facing seat, that's the one here underneath the child's legs. So we would put that seat belt through, buckle it in, and then the most important part that I see a lot with our community members not knowing is that you need to lock that seat seatbelt actually. So we're gonna pull that seatbelt until we can't pull it anymore, all the slack, and then when you let it back in, you can hear a clicking noise. That's how you know it's locking. So we wanna make sure we get all that slack out, and then just like the pinch test over the shoulder, we use the inch test. We give this a firm handshake to make sure it's not moving more than an inch left to right or front to back. So that's how we know we have that nice tight install for a rear-facing seat.
Such good info.
Few things more stressful than doing this the first couple times, but I know these car seat techs are there to help.
Absolutely.
Hospitals, fire departments, there's lots of places you can find folks to help walk through it. So thank you
Yeah,
guys.
of course.
On behalf of all new parents everywhere.
Of course, yeah. And if people have additional questions, they can visit us on our Anschutz campus at the Safety Store at Children's Hospital Colorado or at childrenscolorado.org.
Nice.
All right, Claire, thank you so much.
Thank you.